Hi everybody and welcome back to Boxing Saves Lives. This evening I'm having a conversation with Paul Webb, who's the head coach at Hockwell Ring Boxing Gym in Luton, Hockwell Ring Amateur Boxing Club. So Paul is somebody who I've known for about 4 years, ever since I started boxing Luton. And I've worked alongside Paul in promoting some of the events that he has. And in the last few months especially, I've been really getting to know a lot of the amateur boxers and indeed the new professional boxers that he has in his squad, shall we say. So hoping to catch up with Paul, talk a little bit about how the gym was formed. The gym is right in the middle of Hockwell Ring, at the bottom of the massive tower blocks that we have there. And we're going to have a chat about from beginning to now and how things have grown for the gym, and especially how the gym has been used to help get young people off the streets, get them away from harm's way, and to get them to, improve themselves both physically and mentally.
Tell you what, I give up the technology, I swear it down.
This guy. Yeah, latest everything. You think I'm bad? This guy's the worst.
You're a bomb scare, pal. You're a bomb scare.
I think we're here now. I think we've got it. We've sussed it.
Wicked. That's good. Keep the phone there. Don't move it. Yeah.
How you doing, JD? You alright?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How have you been during lockdown? Because you've been working away, haven't you, pal?
I have, yeah. I haven't had much time off, really. As you know, I work for a local authority, so I've had to keep ticking over.
Yeah.
Even during the lockdown, helping our vulnerable residents of Luton Borough Council.
Yeah.
So we've still got a service to provide, so we've kept on struggling through, really.
Yeah. And as you know, I've worked for the council a few years ago, and there's, they got a lot of tenants dotted right throughout the entire town, man. So thousands of people. So, there's no cure for life for them. Things got to go on, and they have problems, and they need fixing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. We've still got to maintain the houses, still do our bits and bobs. We can't, let the residents down, So we've had to keep going. And it's been all right, really. It's kept me busy anyway.
Yeah.
I'm in my new office at the club. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Can you hear me? No, it's better, yeah. Don't move.
I won't move now. I found a new spot. It's quiet in here.
Right. Listen, Paul, I know I spoke to you in person at one point, and I told you about, I was going to start a new thing called Boxing Saves Lives. And the purpose of that would be to, start drawing attention to the great work that boxing gyms like your own and boxing coaches like yourself and are doing within their local communities. And I started all of that at the beginning of lockdown, but I wanted to get in contact with people like yourself to kind of talk through exactly A, what you think, why you got into boxing, B, what it's like running a boxing gym and what it's like for young people to come through the door, and also, the changes that it makes to young people's lives that you see, yeah? So let's start off at the beginning, Paul. Tell me about how you got into boxing and how you came to, start a boxing club.
So basically, we obviously based in Hockwell Ring, and we didn't have a provision before. So at the time, I think you had a few clubs in Luton. You had Lucy Farm, Luton, Shamrock, you had Farley Hill, and there wasn't a club over this way of the town. So basically, I thought, well, if we can't have a provision in our area, we've got to set one up. We used to go over to Lucy Farms to be fair back in the day, and let's just say the club weren't really there for, I don't know, without sounding rude to Brian, God rest his soul, like he had a certain clientele that would go along to his gym, and we just thought that it wasn't probably the best place. I don't know. Yeah, so we just set our own gym up because there was a need for it. Let's just say it like that.
Fair enough.
And,
so, how come you got to be in boxing yourself? What were you doing at the time? Because obviously you've gone from being in boxing to setting up a gym. What were you doing? Were you boxing amateur? Were you boxing professional? What were you doing yourself?
I didn't actually box, JP, to be fair.
How come you came to be into boxing yourself? Because obviously I know you know Kate.
Because I love the sport of boxing. I used to love the training and whatnot. But by the time we set up the club, I must have been like 30 years old. So probably at that time, I was probably too old to compete as an amateur when we first set the club up. So to be fair, I'll be honest, I can't take getting punched in the face. So let's face it. I'll be honest with you. Boxing, you get punched in the face. I can't take getting punched. So I would never have been a good boxer. But what I did like about boxing is what you're doing now with boxing save lives and all the other added benefits that boxing has.
Yeah.
So apart from me wanting to train myself and apart from me working and using boxing to help young people, that's more so why I got into boxing.
Right.
So like I say, I've been running now for about 15 years.
Yeah.
And at the time, there wasn't a provision in League Wave or Hockwell Ring. So we thought, let's just set one up ourselves. And to be fair, when we first started out, obviously, it was me, Alan, Kay, I think we had the original party, and then Matty Earls come along. Like, we just thought, do you know what, if we can't have our own club, let's do one ourselves. And in a way, when we first started out, we didn't really have much help from other people in the home counties or Luton.
Yeah.
We had to kind of like find our own way, and shout going out to, get a chair please, Kay. Shout going out to Carl from Bedford. When we first started out, he embraced us and he showed us a road. And from since then, yeah, we just escalated and got on to good things.
Brilliant. And Paul, it's funny you mentioned about, talking about not wanting to get involved in boxing and getting hit in the face. I spoke to Laura Payne, who was a former Team GB athlete the other day, about different things. And she said exactly that. She's going professional now. But she said when she first entered the gym, she didn't want to get involved with anything like that at all. And she went now, she almost made the Olympics. So it's just strange how the different circumstances and how people come to be involved in boxing when, it wouldn't seem like the kind of thing they would get involved in. But, what you've just said to me, Paul, is a perfect example of, the kind of person who is involved in boxing, because, I'm not a boxer, amateur or professional. The first taste I have of boxing apart from TV was coming to actually train in the gym where you're standing in now years ago.
Yeah,
I wasn't very good at that, you know what I
ago.
mean? So, although that gave me the bug for seeing the different changes that people like you make, and that's why I started Boxing Luton, and that's why I'm doing Boxing Saves Lives. So you don't necessarily, and this is what I'm trying to explain to people now, is that you could go into a boxing gym and you'll see people been in a boxing gym 1,000 times, but never actually be amateur or professional. They just do it to keep fit. They love the training. They love the mental lift it gives them. And I bet you see that all the time, do you?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, as you know, boxing is not just about. You've got so many different elements to boxing. You can take part because you love the sport. Some of the young people come to the gym to make friends. Adults might come along to make friends as well. Now I'm not competing as an athlete, but now I want to get more into the professional side of it. I personally want to do what you're doing and help young people and give them work experience opportunities combined with boxing. So that's a project that I'm working on at the minute. So where my background is, I got a chance to work for Luton Borough Council many years ago doing a self-build scheme. And that scheme that I did, it gave me the opportunity to better myself. So I just think with all young people, they just need that opportunity. And at the minute, young people don't get many opportunities, especially the ones that might be from Hockwell Ring, young black, young Asian boys. So it's just trying to give boxing in their lives that it can help them maybe to see that they can achieve, obviously, what Kay's doing in the sport now, what Linus is doing. It's all stemmed from maybe having that belief that boxing really can make a difference and you can be good at something. And if you're not good at actually participating in boxing, there's other elements you can still be involved with the sport, but still keep involved with boxing. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah. And you've just drawn attention to it there. I mean, I know obviously you've got lots of people from every, without ticking boxes, every culture, every background and that, but you do have a lot of young black and Asian boys to come to the gym. And it being in the middle of Hockwell Ring and Luton, you would have a lot of people from that demographic. And, it's good that it gives young kids a chance to kind of get out of the way of harm's way, no matter what their background is. And it's perfect that it is just there where they can access the gym and where they can feel welcome and stay out of harm's way is the best way I can describe it, because we're living in tough times, aren't we?
It's actually in the old people's home now. So obviously we can function a lot of the time. And yeah, it's just we provide a service now that really does benefit young people in this area. Yeah.
So when young people come into the gym, Paul, and I mean, I see it myself, because what I'll do is I'll be, especially when, the pinnacle for you is you have the events, so you have the high-rise events and that's only just kind of started last year. But when I come to the gym and I'm interviewing young people, I love seeing the difference in them, because I'll go in and there's a few times I got a couple of them together and they do a little interview, and you can see the difference in the young person from being that shy person who doesn't want to come in the camera to suddenly being that young person who's looking at it for a week going, is he going to do an interview with me this week? And it's great, because I love to see that. And I love anything that builds up young people and gives them, that I always use the expression self-worth, that to be good feeling about themselves, you know what I mean? And I see that all the time in your gym. And, how do you see young people, the difference? Because you have the two different types. You have the young cocky ones that jump through the door of the gym, and then you have the young shyer ones. How do you deal with either one of them as a coach?
I think it's horses for courses, really. You've got to know what the young people are about. Obviously, you can't pigeonhole everyone into the same category. And to be fair, as you've been down to our gym before, our gym is a welcoming, embracing, loving gym. And it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're white, black, Asian, a traveller, like it literally doesn't matter. As soon as you walk through that door, we're all fun. And everyone gets down. You've been here many a time. Everyone gets down, they train, they feel the love, and then they leave. Like, it's just, I don't know, I think with gyms and your slogan, boxing saves lives, I know it's really cliche, but I think it literally does. And with our gym, I think it literally has done. It has literally saved lives. Like, if we weren't here, not that we attract the baddest of the people in this area, but there has been a few rude boys, but maybe boxing's helped them to stay focused and not go off on that tangent. This is it for me, Jay.
Yeah.
With a young person, you can catch them when they're at that crossroads. They're either going to go left or they're going to go right.
Yeah.
And one way is a good way to go down, and one could be a bad way. Now, what I want to try to do, and what I'm really passionate about, is giving these young people the opportunity to choose the correct path. And for me, that's why I love doing my boxing. This is why I love engaging with young people, because I want to help the young people to achieve their potential. And if you don't know, we set up an organisation, me and Kay, called Sporting Links. It's like your boxing saves lives, the same sort of ethos. And the ethos behind it was we like to give young people an opportunity in construction and also to develop their boxing skills. Now, when Linus was with us, he was one of them young people that I got him an electrical apprenticeship, and he was getting qualified as an electrician. But obviously with Linus, he's an exceptional talent. Yeah. So in a way, he's kind of like focused more on his boxing rather than his academics. But obviously everyone may not be as gifted as Linus. So we want to be there as a club to obviously allow them to pursue both avenues. So they can pursue their academic ability. They'll always have a plan B to fall back on, but also so that they can achieve their boxing potential as well. And that's what I want to be here for, to help young people that come along to me. If we can formulate our program, which is what we're trying to do going forward, then obviously we want to get young people apprenticeships, place them with people, just give them that chance. That's all you need in life, is a chance.
Yeah.
Like hopefully Linus and Kate both go on to do good things. But actually, if we weren't here as a boxing club, they probably both wouldn't have been where they are now. So actually, our boxing club has helped them. And I also say that I've helped other people along the way as well.
You know what? I totally agree with everything you said there, Paul, because, that point you made about the crossroads, I'm all about that as well. We need to, I hate to use the expression safe space because it gets hijacked by people who, don't like people clapping their hands at university or whatever. But a safe space, in my thoughts, is somewhere a young person can be to get them off the streets where they're going out, doing a bit of training, kicking around with their pals who they didn't know a few weeks before, getting into a group as opposed to a gang, and, Because if we can create somewhere where young people can go in and feel better about themselves, then we can create somewhere where young people can, you know, maybe be a positive influence on the people around them. Because if they can create their own, improve their self-worth, they can be better at saying, nah, I don't want to get involved with that. I don't want anything to do with that. Getting their mates away from trouble, so that we're not talking about trying to look after kids who were 17 or 18 who've already got 6 or 7 convictions under their belt and their lives are already on the back foot. Because, you know, when I was chatting to Liam Conroy the other day, and he said, you don't get those years back. And it's right, though, isn't it? You don't get those years back. If you get drawn into something, then you're snookered for a long, long time or for the rest of your life. If you can get kids involved before they get to the point where they get pulled into something, then, you know, boxing can be very, very good to them, even if it's literally just somewhere they go to this week. Say that again, sorry?
I said 100%. I totally agree. I agree what you're saying, yeah.
It's just creating that place where they can be, so they can actually get involved in things and build them up alongside each other. And then if they want to get involved in boxing in terms of amateur and pro, then brilliant, somewhere down the line. But actually just giving them somewhere to be, to, you know, and you know what, the point you made about, you know, whether people are academic or maybe getting somebody who are involved in building or not, you know, there's loads of different types of people, as you said, from all backgrounds who get involved in boxing. And you know what, getting involved, hitting a few pads could be the best thing that person does that week. Do you know what I mean? The school might not be great. Schooling might be great. They might not be academic. They might hate school. But giving them somewhere where they can actually go, you know what, I can go in down here, I can enjoy this, and maybe I'll give school another go, or maybe I'll, you know, channel my aggression instead of kicking off in school. Boxing gyms could be the perfect place for that, couldn't it?
It gives them that escape. It gives them that escape where they can just go and focus their mind and attentions. And some people may not have no friends, they may not have that escape. If they come in once a week, that could do wonders for their life, couldn't it?
Definitely. And it's just even that little bit of structure, somewhere they have to be.
Yeah.
And when you sent me that video, Paul, it was brilliant. Well, before I started Boxing Saves Lives, and for anybody watching, Paul sent me a fantastic 4-minute video explaining how boxing can just basically structure people's lives, talking through respect, talking through discipline. You know, those are the obvious too. But even discipline is like, you know, turning up for training on time, making sure you're there every day. Respect, listening to your coach, you know, keeping your hands up. And there will be some kids out there who maybe don't have that kind of role model around them who kind of tells them what they need to do, or, you know, is a bit more stern with them. And that respect and discipline can grow from the boxing gym into the classroom, or they can be, you know, getting involved and just thinking, you know what, I need to stop giving this teacher all this lip back. I need to stop kicking off at my parents or my mum or my dad. I need to stop kicking off, you know, with people around me. And boxing can actually give people that, can't it?
It can, 100%. And obviously, many of the kids that we've come through, literally, they might come through the door with an attitude, and quite quickly they realise that can't wash in our gym. And like you say, you see them in a month's time, and they're a lot more nicer people, do you know?
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's who wouldn't want that for their kids? Whether their kids, you know, an angry kid, and, you know, whatever reasons are behind that, there could be a million reasons. You know, whether the kid's a shy kid, who wouldn't want their kid to have a bit more self-worth and a bit more about them, and a bit more, you know, a bit more about them where they know a bit more about who they are? Because young people, it's really tough for them, you know, because when you get to about 11 or 12, you're getting to that age where you're too old to be kicking around with your parents, but you're too young to kind of be doing anything of real note, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? You're not big enough to do anything.
That's where they're vulnerable, and you want to get them at that age where you can get them on that focused path. Because as they lead through, they could go one way. You can still pull them back with the boxing, and that's ultimately what we have to try to do. But really, you want them from about 10, 11 years old, you instill the goodness into them, and they become model young people growing up. And then when they get to around 17, 18, they can then go off on their correct course, and they're good. But if someone ends up being a bit wayward, it's hard to pull them back in, because the outside influences might be stronger than our influences in the gym. Yeah. But I think we've all got a job, haven't we, to try to help young people in general anyway. Yeah.
Right. So, Paul, where we were is we were just talking about how, you know, the gyms can be a place, especially for getting young people away from trouble and stuff like that, mate. So Have you seen a few examples of that for young people who've gotten kind of caught up in trouble and needed somewhere to be away from the streets?
15 years, there's been one incident where it could have got a bit nasty.
Mm.
I won't go into details too much about it, but let's just say that the club has since then helped this young person, and we had to stop him from coming to the gym, because in a way we didn't want to bring his badness to the gym. So we banned him for like 6 months, and then now he's allowed back in the gym. And I suppose not having boxing in his life, he's realised that he couldn't carry on with the stuff he was carrying on with, because we won't have that here. Because again, there's other impressionable people in the gym. So the young person in question, I won't mention his name, but he got barred from the gym for a few months, and now he's allowed back. He's a different person. You can actually see the maturity in him, where he had a bit of an attitude before, and then since he got banned, he's now a different person. He's a better person. So yeah, I think all in all, I think, as we were saying, it can help. It can help.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. I know you're talking about extremes there, where somebody got themselves into big trouble, but what that actually demonstrates is the fact that a gym can be welcoming to somebody who does get themselves into trouble, whether it even be with the gym or outside the gym. It's still welcoming the people. It gives second and third chances to people to try and make something of themselves, because not doing that, we're more concerned about what could happen to them if we didn't help.
Well, this is it, and we've got a duty of care to look after all our young people, irrespective of the situations they might find themselves in. So it was a vote on it at a committee meeting, and in the end we voted to give the person a second chance. But what sort of club would be if we didn't give them another chance? That's what we're about, giving people second chances and helping them to become better through the sport of boxing, which is what we did.
Yeah. And that perfectly sums it up, Paul. It's that, the other option, again, it's about that respect and discipline. It's about being disciplined, to listen to what you're being told, and respect the people in the gym. And respect means making sure that you don't put anybody in the gym in harm either. Do you know what I mean? So again, the principles of boxing go from inside the gym and beyond the walls of the gym. So that's brilliant. So Paul, you've seen some kids like that in really tough situations. Tell us a little bit about, how, some of the success stories you've had in the gym in terms of young kids coming through the door that have totally changed in terms of, their confidence has grown in that.
Yeah, you get some parents, they send their young people along. Literally, they might be low on self-esteem. They may not be confident. They may not have friends. And given 6 months in the gym, you can really see the difference. Whereas they don't even want to spar when they come into the gym. Mm-hmm. And 6 months after being in the gym, they're sparring, they've made mates.
Yeah.
And they're just super confident. He was one of them quiet kids who was kind of like a shy guy, unsure of himself. And to me, I think he could be one of the best prospects coming out of Luton.
Yeah.
I think he's an awesome talent. And yeah, really, like, boxing's helped him. I don't think it saved him, because he wasn't really a bad person, because he's had that good family upbringing. But he's a success story in as much as he was timid, shy, and obviously now he's full of confidence. He's matured into a nice young man, respectful. And yeah, I hope, inshallah, as they say, I hope that he becomes one of the success stories of this gym.
Yeah.
Him and just two really good people, and we're here to help people like that.
And, the two people you mentioned too, I've done interviews with them before, and they are great young men. And, as you said, they have nice little groups of lads within the gym who will kick around together and all that. And as you said, it creates new mates for them. And, we can bring a child who's overconfident down to the right level and respectful, or it can bring a child who's quite shy up to the level of, being confident and a bit more outward, which is, it doesn't save life in that extent, but it does build them up lovely for when they become adults and when they have to become more assertive, when they're going out looking for jobs and stuff like that. So that's another way it actually just helps young people.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Yeah, I think it's good what you're doing, JP. Obviously, you're bringing it to the forefront of Boxing Saves Lives, and obviously what we're doing, it just highlights to everyone that obviously years gone by, boxing used to have that stigma, didn't it, about being a bad sport, a violent sport. And now actually there's evidence even to say that it does good.
Yeah. And I think in the next few weeks, Paul, you're going to be hoping, I know obviously with Luton at the moment there's an extra lockdown, but what are you hoping to achieve, when the boxing gyms can open again safely? What do you envisage for the future for your gym then? Do you think many people will be coming back, or will they be very cautious, or what's the vibe you're getting from people?
It's a hard one, really. I think people want to be back training, so you can't train full stop in Luton at the minute. So I think the boxing gym is another place where they could train. So I think once we do open our doors again, I think there will be the demand. As you know, our gym's always been busy, and people have always wanted to come to our gym since we've opened. We might get 20, 30 people in here over night time, adults. So I think when we do open, I want to get back to the gym. Obviously, I've missed it. I'm trying to complete my MBA, so the break has been welcomed.
Yeah.
Actually, now I do want to get the young people back in the gym. And really, this year, what we wanted to do was to produce champions. And we've set a target for ourselves. We want to compete as a club in 100 fights this season.
Wow.
So obviously when we went along to Alliance Boxing, I think there was less opportunities. That's why we've come back to England Boxing now. And this year, for when the season does finally start, we want our Cardiff boys, to be out 100 times. So to facilitate that, we're going to put shows on in Hockwell Ring in our gym.
Yeah.
We're obviously going to put the high-rise shows on and put the amateurs on the undercards. And also working with Luton Boys and Dalla Road, we're also going to put joint shows on with them.
Yeah.
I think clubs like Hoddesdon, they're so successful because they're busy.
Yes.
And I think I think that's the only difference. We've got good coaches, they've got good coaches. We've got our own facility, they've got their own facility. I think we just need to get our boys active. And I think that's the only difference. Like little, I don't even remember him. He's one of our young people that we used to have here. He went across to Hoddesdon purely because there was no opportunities. There weren't the opportunities that he wanted at our gym.
Yeah.
And I think he's got up to like 14 fights now. I think he had 10 fights in one season. And he won one of them area belts. And he's a really good talent. But obviously, that's just one of the talents we have.
The good thing about boxing is that you wouldn't stand in the way of a young child like that who moves to another gym, because you want the best possible thing for them. But at the same time, you can be a little bit selfish because you would rather be able to do all of that for them right there at your own gym. So why not build those building blocks for that right now?
100%. And to be fair, I think the only reason why he's gone there is because with the Alliance side of things, he wasn't busy. And it's shown he's gone across to another club and he's excelled exceptionally. Like, he's had loads of fights. He's won the area belt. He's won the national belt as well. But he's one of Hockwell Ring fighters. We produced him. That's not to say that we can't produce the goods. I think our structures need to be in place to assist with that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're going to do this year. We're going to really, when Linus was an amateur and Kay, we were one of the better clubs in the home counties, and people, if they knew it was up against a Hockwell Ring boy, they'd have a tough night. And over the years, I kind of like doing. We want to get that back, where people know that when they deal with Hockwell Ring, it's going to be hard work,
Yeah.
They don't want this smoke, as they say.
Right, listen, Paul, thank you so much for, we got there in the end tonight. I'm going to put this together on YouTube and I'm going to put it out for next week, because as you know, I've been working with the James Campbell Collective, which was funded by the Police and Crime Commissioner Office for Bedfordshire. So I'm going to put a video out next week. I'll probably have to put a few bits together, Paul, because we've been a little bit hitty-bitty tonight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'll get it all put together and I'll get it out next week and I'll send you over a link. But thank you so much for, I really did want to speak to you because I know exactly how hard you work, and I need young people to recognise, that those opportunities are available for them in a gym like yours.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And thanks for having us on. And hopefully we can do it again sometime.
Definitely. Thanks, Paul. See you soon, yeah?
All right. Thanks, JB. Cheers, fella.